If you have seen behind the scenes of any of the modern video games or films, especially on bigger projects, like the Last of Us game for example, you will see actors moving around with some skinny suits and cameras pointed directly to their faces. If you saw that, that is exactly how motion capture looks like on the surface. To capture and replicate the movement of actors, many devices and software were developed and every move of a performer was captured multiple times per second. While early techniques used images for multiple cameras to calculate 3D positions, soon enough cameras became only a part of the process, with the introduction of the dotted bodysuits. Most of you would have seen a picture with one of your favorite actors in a spandex bodysuit covered with white markers. I was surprised too, but this form of motion capture rose to prominence in the 1950s, when animator Lee Harrison created the first Mocap suit. This included multiple sensors or markers attached to the bodysuit that was used to record movements in real time. After a decade, Walt Disney Imagineering and Universal Studios brought to life the first motion capture system that can animate fingers for rides and shows in Disney theme parks. The utilization of motion capture would have been limited to a tourist attraction if it wasn't for the advancements in biomechanics. The technology was an effective way at studying how human body moves and functions. There was a push to study human movement in the 80s. Tom Calver, a professor at Simon Fraser, began tracking the knee movements, and shortly after, MIT developed the so-called graphical marionette, consisting of LED lights attached to a wearable suit, which could then track the actor's movements using the optical motion system called Op-Eye, which brings white dots over the black footage that was then used to render the actor's real movements into 2D motion. And here is the interesting thing. With the continued development of smaller computers, in addition to better software and a decreasing cost of technology in general, and by the late 1980s, motion capture has come to be seen as a new opportunity with real creative potential. But it wasn't until the 2000s that we finally saw motion capture started to be used in film. So as you can see, it took around 50 years for motion capture to be a real thing that is useful in the field. The true purpose of motion capture was to only record the movements of the actor. This animation data is then added to a 3D model so that the model performs the same actions as the actor. This was the major difference from the older techniques that were created in the early 2000s. Having the ability to separate the actor and his performance allowed Tom Hanks, for example, to play 8 roles in the Polar Express movie. The quality of motion capture worked for some animated films at the time, but not when it came to live action until Peter Jackson revealed just how iconic CGI mocap characters can be when the world saw Gollum in the 2002 movie The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Generally speaking, the main use of motion capture led to many technology advancements, like high-end cameras, bodysuits and software, and it also led to several people starting to believe in the future of fully CGI mocap media. During this time, mocap system began solving a lot of problems that existed in the earliest days. The process of recording data became almost instant, and it started capturing the tiniest movements of a human body, and more importantly, the entire process got a lot cheaper. Still, they faced several issues with often incorrect data being sent and viewing of data not being possible in real time. I think we can all agree that the roots of this technology run deep. However, director James Cameron was one of the most instrumental people to push mocap technology to where it is today. Cameron felt that the technology of the early 2000s was not enough to capture the richness of the Avatar world. When he started filming, the team at VFX created the first virtual camera, which enabled him to watch the actor's CGI versions on a monitor in real time. Truly the first step forwards in real-time VFX, and it allowed for the characters to age organically across multiple films without the actor's age being a factor. The mocap technology developed for the creation of Avatar allowed the film to retain the actor's interpretation and full emotional performances. One of the most amazing parts of motion capture is its ability to capture the details of an actor's emotional details In the subtle ways, the actor's lip quivers or eyes shift, which are all captured and added to the animation of the CGI characters. This actually led to a new branch of motion capture, which is called facial mocap. I think it is self-explanatory, but what is it anyways? Well, facial motion capture is the process of converting the movements of a person's face into digital signals using cameras or laser scanners. These signals are then used to produce CG animated faces. Simply put, it makes the most difficult part of animation, which is capturing realistic human emotions. I mean, it makes it easier to a certain extent. This has been an incredibly important part in creating the iconic motion capture for characters that people can emotionally relate to. With the development over the 2010s, it meant we could see more and more of an actor's performance shine through their avatars. I mean CG avatars. As more and more people started understanding, rapid growth in the technology began with easier methods and systems starting to take shape. In recent years, motion capture setups required a controlled environment, with rigs being attached to actors and studios with hundreds of cameras almost thought of being a necessity for motion capture, allowing not only actors' performance to be captured, but its relation to the environment around them. These setups are still used for shooting scenes in movies and video games, as they give accurate results with markers spread all over the actors and the environments. After shooting, the VFX team would use the motion capture data from their facial expressions and performance and add the details to create a fully digital character. To achieve this, software like Autodesk Motion Builder were built. Even already existing software like Max were updated to be able to process motion capture data, which is a nice addition, and a necessary one I might add. And soon, with the development in technology, the use of motion capture data started being thought of in different contexts, and the demand for markerless mocap started rising, which is a natural thing to take place. The roots of virtual reality also lie in motion capture, with the focus on allowing people to interact in real time with digital content. Most VR headsets now can track hand movements without any external sensors and rigs. Even the user's reaction to his surroundings are recorded to allow a safe zone for appropriate uses of these headsets, which makes sense. Performance capture for 3D characters is now possible with bodysuits and light eye sensors, which are available to a regular customer, and it is free and easy to use within 3D software. These attempts, I think, give accessibility of production and power of motion capture to anyone with a computer, and as a consequence, these have led to motion capture becoming more widely known. With AI filling the gaps, some solutions also use simple smartphone cameras to have basic motion capture data ready in no time. Even face capture using smartphones has become possible, with the ability of adding complex human emotions to animated characters in a matter of just seconds, which is incredible to think about. Mocap, combined with the power of latest 3D software, in addition to game engines, gives the power to a beginner filmmaker, for example, to try their hands on CGI filmmaking. But the thing is, on the other side of this explosive rise of mocap, there have also been concerns for its place and value in the industry. Some might even wonder if these developments in performance capture mean the death of traditional animation. But where does it stand currently in the VFX industry? While answering these concerns, James Cameron once compared mocap technology, saying, "Traditional CGI clearly can't compete with performance capture in terms of realism. So now computer animation can begin to move away from its preoccupation with slavish recreations of fur, hair, and motion, and mature in abstract and impressionist direction." You see, today the technology is used in a variety of industries. Motion capture's increased popularity has made the process significantly less time-consuming for creators and made, I believe, a better tool for communicating with audiences. Even with the rich history of motion capture, it has significantly changed in the last few years. Nowadays, motion capture is a vital part of the VFX industry, as it can now capture the tiny details in the movement and the gestures of the actors, and it allows interactions without any markers or controllers. So if you haven't noticed, motion capture technology has evolved significantly, transforming from just a niche tool into a cornerstone of the VFX industry, in addition to the gaming industry as well. and it has changed the way people see and interact with the digital world. And I think it is a great time to start using it if you are doing something related to animation, game development, or VFX. I hope you guys found this video useful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to this channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.